Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to show you what I think is probably the single coolest, most valuable addition to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, especially if you are a real-world pilot that is using Microsoft Flight Sim as a training aid. So for background, my name is Trent. I'm a professional pilot. I'm a CFII, MEI with about 1,200 hours of dual given. And back when I was training for my instrument rating, I made extensive use of Microsoft Flight Simulator to help me practice, because it is identical to flying in the real world. And back then, I had to either put ForeFlight on my tablet on my knee, or I had to use Navigraph, but not anymore. Now, Microsoft has included in their electronic flight bag an absolutely phenomenal tool that includes all of the charts that you would need to do real instrument flight training. So let's load up a fictitious flight. We are going to go from Boise. We're going to depart on, let's say, 28 right, and we're going to go to Seattle, and we're going to land on 34 right. Now, by the way, if you wanted to find out at a given airport what the winds are doing and what runways you should be landing on, when you've got, let's go back a step. So, if we go back to our flight plan and we click on this little information icon here, you can see that SeaTac now is highlighted here in magenta, and we've got the first button is the information. We've got general, we've got the weather at SeaTac, currently VFR. We could get a TAF from SeaTac if we would like, and like I thought that current weather being VFR was a little suspect. It's actually low IFR. And then we can also look at the runways, and we can get the winds, which is pretty darn phenomenal. And then we can also get all of the frequencies, and if you're in the aircraft and you just click set while you're in the aircraft, it will automatically load that frequency into the communication system within the aircraft for you. Then you've also got your departure charts, your arrival charts, your approach charts. So in this case, we're going to do an approach to 34 right. So there is the FAA chart for 34 right. How cool is that? You don't need to pay for third-party software any longer to get your approach charts, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. And you can have this right in the plane with you. Whether you fly on the screen or whether you fly in VR, it's going to work for you. Then you've got your airport info and whatever is on miscellaneous tab, and then you can get a split view as well. So let's go now back to our flight plan and think, okay, so we're going to fly to Seattle, and we're going to come in. What approach procedure do we want to do? Well, we're going to come in on the ILS 34, and we can choose whatever our transition is. If we want to have ATC vector us to final, we would choose direct, or we could choose JIPOX, Sonder, or WAGT. Those are the available procedures. And so we're just going to go ahead and go with WAGT, so that's great. And then, so that the AIATC within Microsoft Flight Simulator needs to know what you're going to do, you would file the flight plan with ATC, and then you can also send the route to the avionics in your aircraft, which is just absolutely super duper cool. So there's a couple of other things here that I really want to make sure you understand. So let's go back. So now we've got a flight plan all loaded up, and if we went and got into the plane, it's going to be in our avionics, and we could just go and fly it. But what other information do we have here? Well, we've got flight details. This is going to be an IFR flight. We can tell them that we've got a Mode C transponder that squawks a transponder code plus an altitude. You could put flight date in. You could enter whatever nav comm equipment you have. You can go down to your payload options. So there's our zero fuel weight, the number of passengers, and so forth. Then you've got your taxi fuel. Depending upon if you're going to be taxiing a lot at a bigger airport, you might want to increase your taxi fuel. There's our trip fuel, contingency fuel, reserve, and so forth. And then down here, you've got your nav log. So if you're a VFR or VFR pilot, you might have remembered when you were studying for your check ride, you had to have a nav log, and it had all the waypoints, and you would start your stopwatch at each waypoint, and you would figure out how long it would take you from go to waypoint. So that's available for you there. And then you also have all of the charts for this flight available to you here. So this is really, really cool stuff. Now, if you're flying an aircraft that maybe you aren't super familiar with, you've got your flight performances here. So you've got seats, cargo, fuel, empty, and so forth. You've got your environment for you could calculate your takeoff and landing distances here. And especially cool is the checklists, because these checklists will show you exactly how to start up the aircraft. And to show you that in action, I'm actually going to get into the aircraft. So let's pause the video and we'll get in the aircraft. Alright, so let's say that you get into a cold and dark aircraft
TOS system test.
and
Okay.
you do not know how to start that airplane. Well, we've got this wonderful checklist tube. So there's our pre-flight. So let's go down to start engine with battery. There we go. Okay, so throttle. Make sure it's a little bit open. There's our throttle a little bit open. Mixture idle cutoff. Okay. Oh, I don't have the right throttle quadrant set up, but anyway, let me just pause the video and I'll fix that. Alright, so there's our mixture working the way it should. So if it wants mixture idle cutoff, we would do that. Standby battery switch. You're not sure what that is? I think I need to get my EFB out of the way. There we go. There's the standby battery switch. And it's saying test. So put it in test mode. Okay. So you get the idea. So there's these absolutely wonderful checklists that are going to help you to go ahead and get your plane started. You've also got your logbook, and then settings. You can change the size of this thing. You can make it horizontal. You can make it vertical. You can change the brightness. You can change your units of measure. You can even change what's on your favorites bar. I assume at some point in time there's going to be more apps that are built by either Microsoft or third-party developers. They would appear here, and you could put them down on the toolbar down below. Okay, so now let's say that you're approaching Seattle. You're going to be flying the ILS, but you don't know the ILS frequency. What would you do to get that information? Well, you would simply go down to here. You would go to approaches, choose whatever approach you're going to do, pull up your plate, and voila, right there is your ILS frequency. Here's your plate. And by the way, if you don't understand how to read all of this stuff on approach plates, I have other videos on my channel that explain how to do that, and I will link those down in the description below. So what do you think, guys? Is this not the coolest thing ever? If you have questions or comments about how to use this, I will do my best to answer those for you. And as well, in a future video, probably the next one I record, I'm going to do a real IFR flight from airport A to airport B. I haven't chosen that yet. So if you have ideas for me, go ahead and put those in the comments. And so it'll be basically like a free lesson for you from a CFII that you'll be able to watch as many times as you would like. And I'm happy to do as many of those lessons as get requested by the community. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure that you smash that like button if you've enjoyed this video, because that's a wonderful way of thanking me and also helping YouTube's algorithm to share the video for more people. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on those future IFR flight videos, make sure that you become a subscriber, and also consider going over to flywithtrent.com, and you can become an email subscriber too if you prefer to get an email notification. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.